Welcome to Derry Episode 4 Breakdown, the great swirling apparatus of our planet's function. Episode 4 of it, Welcome to Derry, delivers the series' darkest escalation yet. As Pennywise's influence expands across the town, fear becomes a weapon, truth becomes dangerous, and the kids who stumbled into the supernatural in Episode 3 now face the consequences head-on. The great swirling apparatus of our planet's function is an hour built on tension, trauma, and the unraveling sanity of Derry's residents. It's filled with revelations tied to Stephen King's mythology, major character turning points, and the first clear pathway toward the origins of the monster haunting Derry. This breakdown dives into every key moment: Leroy's confrontation with the entity, Lily's devastating ordeal, Halloran's deepening connection to the supernatural, Hank Grogan's secret, and the terrifying final reveal of the Neibolt house.
The statue.
No, are you blind? It's a clown!
The kids bring proof, but Derry looks away. The episode opens with the kids racing their bikes to the police department with the photos they developed after their encounter in the previous episode. For a moment, it looks like the adults might finally see what the kids see, the figures of dead children lurking in the background, and the faint image of the clown. But when Chief Bowers and his officers examine the pictures, the supernatural elements are mysteriously missing. There are no ghostly faces. The clown barely shows up, and the adults assume it's a statue. The police brush off the kids' warnings, reinforcing a core theme of King's universe. Adults in Derry either cannot see or refuse to see the truth. Back at school, the new group of friends realizes the entity could have killed them already, meaning it's playing with them. Terror isn't a side effect, it's the point. Lily tries to turn to Ingrid, the compassionate nurse who has never dismissed her, but even Ingrid can only offer vague memories and encouragement rather than concrete answers. Her reassurance that Lily can do anything with good friends beside her becomes tragically relevant later in the episode.
Arrested for a murder he swears he didn't commit. And his daughter is friends with our son.
Charlotte confronts Derry's darkness. Charlotte Hanlon continues her determined search for answers. When Rose and Taniel visit to drop off items from the thrift shop, Rose inadvertently triggers alarm bells by mentioning a pipeline project Leroy is supposedly working on, something Charlotte has never heard of. Leroy, in her mind, is a pilot doing classified work. The contradiction hints at deeper secrets, possibly tied to General Shaw and the covert operation happening in Derry. Her concern grows when Will breaks down, confessing something is chasing him. Charlotte immediately shuts down all unnecessary outings. Her instincts are sharper than most adults in Derry, but her access to information is still limited. She later visits Chief Bowers to press the idea that the wrong man may be in jail if someone or something is hunting kids. When he refuses to let her speak to Hank Grogan, again, Charlotte decides to take matters into her own hands. Her tenacity eventually forces the police to let her talk to Hank, setting off one of the episode's crucial reveals. Leroy and Will, a father's worst nightmare. One of the episode's most gripping sequences occurs during Leroy and Will's fishing trip. Trying to bond, Leroy takes his son to the river. When Will briefly stands alone in the shallow water, the entity strikes. It appears as a burned, mutilated version of Leroy, a horrifying manifestation designed to paralyze Will with fear. The creature drags him under, pulling him toward what looks like certain death. Leroy hears the screams and sprints to the water just in time to yank Will to safety. He doesn't see the creature, but Will's bloody scratches tell him something attacked his son. The red balloon floating gently across the river confirms it. This moment is the clearest acknowledgement yet from the Hanlon family. Something real, something evil, is hunting Will. Halloran's visions grow stronger. Dick Halloran, still reeling from his terrifying encounter with Pennywise in Episode 3, experiences another psychic attack. While helping his fellow black soldiers clean their new hangout, he's struck by a stabbing pain in his head and sees a vision of his mother warning him to keep your lid on tight. These visions aren't metaphorical. They're messages from the supernatural realm tied to The Shining. Shortly after, Leroy bursts in, demanding that Halloran tell him what the soldiers are doing in Derry. Halloran genuinely doesn't know, though his powers are starting to connect him to answers he hasn't asked for.
No, I didn't.
Lily's day takes a tragic turn. At the standpipe, Will shares his close call with the entity, speculating that it feeds on fear, like an animal stalking prey. Lily, Overwhelmed and desperate for control, steals her mom's anti-anxiety pills and offers them to her friends in case the entity comes after them. But her emotional support system is about to collapse. Marge, the queen bee of the popular girls, briefly apologizes to Lily for her bullying. But behind her, the other girls quietly plot to humiliate Lily, and Marge reluctantly allows it. Moments later, guilt pulls Marge into the bathroom to admit the truth to Lily. Then the horror begins. Her eyes bulge grotesquely, then burst. Lily realizes immediately that Pennywise is manipulating Marge through fear and tries to help her by taking her pill, but drops it. Marge stumbles blindly into the shop class, screaming and clawing at her skull. Thinking the saw can save her from what she's seeing, she attempts to cut out her eyes. When teachers and students rush in, it looks like Lily is attacking her, not helping. This sets Lily up for devastating social and possibly legal consequences, the perfect scenario for Pennywise to isolate a victim.
Man, y'all don't understand.
All right.
Hank Grogan's secret comes to light. Charlotte finally gets to speak to Hank after threatening civil rights action. Hank has refused to tell the police where he really was on the night the kids went missing, until now. He confesses he was with a married, white woman. If that information comes out, both of them could face violent repercussions in 1960s Derry. His silence wasn't guilt. It was fear. Charlotte urges him to file discrimination complaints, which would at least let him stay under house arrest. Her determination to protect Hank introduces a new thread. Charlotte may soon become a threat to the people who want to hide Derry's darkest secrets. Will spots Pennywise again. That night, Will stares through his telescope and sees the silhouette of a clown standing under a tree in his yard. When he screams for his father, the figure disappears, leaving only another red balloon. The entity is no longer teasing. It is escalating.
We caught him and his friends scoping out the base, trying to get a peek over our fences.
Shaw's secret operation and the ancient story of the monster. General Shaw reveals the true scope of the secret operation when he takes Leroy to observe Halloran in an interrogation room. Shaw apologizes before triggering Halloran's psychic connection, sending him into Taniel's memory. In this memory, Taniel's Aunt Rose shares the origin story of the monster in the woods, echoing the cosmic horror lore fans of IT know well. Millions of years ago, an evil spirit fell to Earth inside a fallen star. That star contained a power capable of forming weapons against the entity. Early tribes forged a dagger from its material to fight the monster. But as settlers encroached on the land, the creature slaughtered them, gaining strength with every kill. When the dagger was no longer enough, a young girl gathered shards of the star to create a cage, not to kill the monster, but to trap it. She buried 13 shards around the woods, sealing the entity in a supernatural prison. This revelation connects directly to the ritualistic mythology behind Pennywise and hints at the future of the series. At the end of the memory, Halloran asks young Taniel how to find the shards. The answer: follow the tunnels beneath the old well. The episode's final image, Neibolt House. The screen cuts to the decrepit, infamous Neibolt House, the gateway to Pennywise's domain and one of the most iconic locations in the IT universe. It's a chilling final image, promising that the mysteries of the tunnels, the well, and the buried star shards are about to take center stage. Final thoughts. Episode 4 raises the stakes for every character in it. Welcome to Derry. The kids are being stalked relentlessly. Lily is at her breaking point. Will has become a primary target. Charlotte is getting dangerously close to the truth. Halloran's shining abilities are intensifying, and Leroy now understands that his family is in real danger. The mythology introduced through Taniel's memory expands the series far beyond the familiar story of Pennywise, giving the show a richer cosmic backstory tied to ancient battles, lost weapons, and the roots of Derry's curse. With the reveal of Neibolt House, the series is marching toward its most terrifying territory yet. If Episode 4 proved anything, it's that Pennywise has only just begun.